1,000 students from a local university were sampled to gather information such as gender, high school GPA, and college GPA. The results were used to create the histograms shown below. So you'll notice the gender, male and female, and are on the top for the males, bottoms is the females. And then we also see that the left side is the high school, right side is the four-year college GPA. So first it says, based on the histograms, describe the distribution of high school GPAs for males. So we're looking at the high school GPAs, so that's this side, and males, so we're looking at this histogram right here. And we want to describe it. So if you want to describe a distribution, there's three aspects that will help us give a good understanding of what we are actually seeing in the distribution. And those three things are the shape, the center, and the spread. And so we want to make sure that we discuss all three of those aspects whenever we're talking about describing a distribution. So first, let's talk about the shape. Most people were able to say something about the shape. And I actually accepted two possible answers from here. So some people said, oh, you know, it's approximately bell-shaped, or you might have said somewhat symmetric. Maybe it's a little high on the right side. And so I would have accepted that. What I would have actually said, for me personally, was that, okay, there's a slight skew to the right, to the left. Right, the tail is slightly longer on the left, and it kind of drops up further on the left side. So that's what I would have actually put here. For in this case, the shape would be shape of high school GPAs for males was slightly skewed left. And remember, the skew is the direction of the tail, the part that tapers off. And so that would have been good there. Some people might have mentioned, oh, it does look like there's an unusual point here on the upper end. You might have called that an outlier or a possible outlier. I don't know if it's necessarily far enough away for that. But as long as you got something about the shape, you were able to get that point. For the center, it's asking, okay, let's make an estimate. Well, again, we're just kind of eyeballing it. So to me, I'm going to guess that looks like about center. So it looks like right around just above 3.0. So the GPAs were centered at about a 3.0. And then finally, the spread. Now again, there's lots of ways we could talk about the spread. Right now, it looks like the best way would probably just to talk about the range, since that's the easiest to see. You might say that the range goes from around 2 to 4. Maybe a little bit past it, but most of the values. So a range of 4 minus 2 would be 2. And there we go. You didn't have to actually use the range as long as we know that we're talking about spread in some case. If we have all three of those things and it's well written, then that would have been the points that we needed. Now letter B is asking us to make a comparison. It says compare the center and spread between high school GPA and college GPA for females. And so we're asking specifically which has the higher center and which one has more variability. So we're comparing females. So those are both of the bottom ones. So this bottom one here, and then this bottom one here. And we want to see first which one has the higher center. Well, if we kind of estimate where we think the center is for females, it looks like it's right around here too, which is just above a 3.0. Versus when we're looking at the center for our college, it's maybe right around here, which is above a just above a 2.0. Well, it's pretty clear that 3.0 is higher than 2.0. So it should be pretty clear that the females have a higher high school GPA compared to the college GPAs. So I'll just write it as it appears female high school GPAs are centered higher than female college GPAs. And you could be more specific and say it's around 3.0 versus 2.0, but as long as we're answering the question, that's fine. And finally, let's talk about which one has more variability, more spread. And we see that for college, it goes as low as 0 all the way up to the 4, versus here, the lowest is a 2 up to the 4. So which one is more spread out is definitely the college GPAs. So the college female GPAs are more spread out compared to the high school female GPAs. And there we go. We answered the question. Finally, letter C is asking, which statistic would be more appropriate for the measure of central tendency when analyzing the female college GPA, the mean or the median, and it asks us to estimate or to explain why. So this takes that one question a bit further, of making sure that you can write an explanation. So we have the mean or the median. And if you recall, when is it one more effective than the other? We use the mean when we have something that's symmetric, right? No outliers. And if it's not symmetric or no outliers, meaning we have something that's skewed or has outliers, then we can use the median. So some people on their descriptions, they considered maybe these as possible outliers, so I accepted that. But the key thing that we do see here is that there are those low points, so it does make it skewed to the left. It's not completely symmetric. And so it's not the nicest type of distribution here. So that's when we know we must use the median. So the median is more appropriate. And of course, it says why, so we need to make sure to include that in our answer. So I will say because the distribution, and then you can put your reasoning. I'll just put that it seems skewed to the left.